Good morning. Let's take a look at today's fifth grade math assignment. First off, when you click the home button and go to Monday, that will take you directly to your math DMR. If you keep clicking the next button, it will take you to the next assignment. This has a video called Watch and Learn video by Mrs. Miller. This is a video of me practicing taking the fifth grade division pretest that we took several weeks ago. Then for the second part, I'd like for you to use the discussion below to answer the following question. So we're going to solve this question together using the 4-square problem solving method. Mrs. Miller has 4,921 pennies in a large storage jar. She wanted to divide the amount into 14 groups. How many pennies would be in each group? Will there be any leftover pennies? If so, how many, and what should you do with the remainders? So after you finish with solving the problem, and I'm okay with you following along with me during the video, make sure you click reply, and you must comment with your own answer before seeing anyone else's response. So let's get started. Okay, for the 4-step problem solving method, if you'll remember, the 4 things that you need to do are to type what I know, what do I need to know, take action and solve, and then explain. So let's go back and find out what we know. We know that Mrs. Miller has 4,921 pennies. Okay, so we know that there are 4,921 pennies, and Mrs. Miller wants those divided up into how many groups? 14. We are going to need to know what? Over here, when it says, what do I need to know? I need to know how many pennies are in each group. How many pennies are in each group? Also, another part that the question asks is, will there be any leftover pennies or a remainder, question mark? Let's find out. Let's take action and solve. So I have here the list of 14s. So if I was skip counting by 14 groups, making sure I have done this ahead of time will make sure that I am set up for success for this problem. So I'm going to use my whiteboard tools to show how to solve this problem. Okay, so there's always a glare right there. Sorry about that. So we have 4,921 pennies, and Mrs. Miller wants those divided into 14 groups. First thing I'm going to do is divide. In long division, there's 4 steps: divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down. Then repeat those steps. So when dividing here, I noticed that since my divisor's a 2-digit number, I'm going to be looking at the first 2 digits here. How many times does 14 go into 49? That's our division step. 14 goes, let's see, that would be 14 times 1, 14 times 2, times 3, times 4. So 49 divided by 14 is 3. Even though it's just a little less than 49, we still need to use the number 3. That goes directly above the digit 9. Okay, so we've divided. Now we multiply. 14 times 3 is 42. Subtract. Bring down. Repeat. 14 goes into 72 5 times, because if I use 6, that would be 84, and that would be too much. So 14 goes into 72 5 times. Check, that's the division part. Multiply now. 5 times 14 equals 70. Check for multiplication. Now subtract and bring down. Oops, that's a 1. 14 goes into 21 1 time. 1 times 14 equals 14. Subtract. We have a remainder of 7. So the answer 351 remainder 7, we're not quite answering the question yet, because Mrs. Miller wanted to know how we solved. So my work can go here. Explain. What do I need to explain? Well, the original question asked, how many pennies would be in each group? Will there be leftover pennies? If so, how many? And what should you do with the remainders? Okay, so here I'm going to explain that there are 351 pennies in each group. That is the quotient. There are 7 pennies left over. This is the remainder. If it were me, I'd take those leftover 7 pennies and start a new jar of pennies. Oops, pennies. Okay, so I can't wait to see what you can do, kiddos.